What was it like to play for Coach Al Groh? How about scoring 4 touchdowns in one game versus Virginia Tech? Tonight, we talk to UVA great running back Wali Lundy so he can tell us about his time as a Who. Also, don't miss this week's Mincer's Moment of the Week. Next on the Cavalier Connection. Welcome into another edition of the Cavalier Connection. I'm your host tonight, Jeff, joined by Jay. How you doing tonight, Jay?
I'm doing fantastic. Looking forward to our interview tonight.
Yeah, exciting interview with Virginia great Wali Lundy. So I know we teased it. We teased it after in our post-game show, and that's what we got coming on here tonight. But before we get to the running back great, we do have a little business to take care of. We got to pay the bills, as they say. We talked about the basketball game last night. We also have last night, we got our Mincer's Moment of the Week. Speaking of the moment of the week and speaking of Mincer's, UVA fans, are you looking for the best sport in sportswear? Look no further than Mincer's UVA Sportswear. Since 1948, they've been a proud part of the UVA community, offering high-quality, well-designed, and long-lasting apparel that's perfect for game day and every day. Whether you need T-shirts, polos, sweatshirts, hats, or fun game day accessories, they've got you covered. Create an unforgettable family memory while showing off your UVA pride. Don't miss their amazing orange tag deals. There's always a way to save. There's always a way to save. Join the Mincer's family tradition and gear up with them today. Mincer's UVA Sportswear, where your school spirit meets style. So our Mincer's Moment of the Week comes to us from last night's basketball game, and freshman, hopefully we can say freshman sensation, Jacob Kofi. And I'm going to take you guys to it right now.
Kevin McGeehan's teams always play really hard. Jacob Kofi with a
that Tony Bennett defense. Ron Sanford.
Good defense right here by the freshman. No one was going to.
And that is this week's Mincer's Moment. What a good start to Jacob Kofi's career, and to get that swipe playing the Virginia defense, and then to take it coast to coast. And real quick, Jay, how many times I feel like in the last several years we get a steal like that and we don't finish?
Yeah.
And I know because we're Virginia fans, you feel like it happens to us more than others. But I swear I watch every college team in basketball finish at the rim there, and Virginia gets their shot blocked or they just miss a layup.
One thing I liked about him was there was a couple times in that high-low action with him and Blake where he would actually give the guys – he would give a head fake. The guys would go up, and he would compose himself and just go up and finish with ease.
Yeah.
He made it look so easy. But even more exciting than 16 points and 6 boards in your college debut is after one game, he's already gotten a Mincer's Moment.
Yeah,
there are some guys that go a career without getting a Mincer's Moment.
That's right.
And he's already got one. So
that's right.
He may end up in the Mincer's Moments Hall of Fame by the time he's done.
Yeah. He might be on the Mount Rushmore of Mincer's Moments.
That is very possible.
Yeah. But and real quick, because I know we're gonna have Wally on here just a little bit. I don't know if you caught. I watched our friends over at Locker Room Access for their post game from last night. Did you watch
a little bit of it? Not all of it.
Yeah, boy, I told you to go easy on Rhodey last night. They did not.
Oh, really?
They did not.
Really?
They did not.
Boy. I'll have to check it out because they started off pretty easy.
Yeah. I mean, that's just, I mean, they were nice. And when I tell you to go easy, Jay, I'm just trying to make sure, we're all on the same page, but don't get too crazy. Remember we're on the radio or on YouTube.
Look, have you listened to Ball Hawks preview episode for Pittsburgh?
I haven't listened to that one yet.
So, he always says earmuffs and Petty Hawk don't come out much. Petty Hawk came out a lot. Petty Hawk came out a lot. I loved it. But I had Jayton and his friend in the car, and it was I almost had to turn off the episode.
Oh gosh, that's hilarious.
But you got to go check it out. Great preview of the Pitt game, and it's very entertaining. So.
I think Ball Hawk is as good as they come.
No, I think he's a national treasure that we have at Virginia.
Yeah,
like that dude should be doing. He should be Stephen A. Smith, like that type of. He is that level talented. He's ridiculously good. I
wish we could get our podcast to his level, like everything from the music to. He's just good. He's entertaining.
Yeah, he's got it all. He's entertaining, and he's smart with his takes. You know, he don't put out ridiculousness.
Right.
So
like myself. And then we can, they say we're going, it's like the WNBA. We're like the WNBA, and we went head to head versus NFL last night. We go post game live. And at the same time as locker room access. Locker rooms they're gonna blow us out the water. Chit chat, a lot of chat in there. I love the
you got
chat.
two former Who's.
There's no question of why. I'm all for it. I'm like, man, we just got to pick up their stuff.
Dougie Fresh said he'd have us on with them sometime, and we'll have to take him up on it.
Yeah, no doubt. But and our friend Tugard, he had a lot to say on their show.
Oh, did he?
Oh yeah, just a lot of comments. And you see his stuff on Twitter. He's like on the morning drive locally. Hank on the morning drive is
or Paulie.
Hank is Hank by far. Hank's in the YouTube chat. It's a lot of commentary, and I need a Hank. We need a Hank.
Yes,
we need a Hank to come on.
I'm gonna tell you that comment last night. I almost cut a short of that comment, and I thought, man, that's a little too rough to put a short out there on Rhodey like that.
Right,
but I had the mix open to do it. I can't do it.
I'm so appreciative to get comments.
Yes,
and when we're live, please comment. It gives you more material to talk about. So
for sure.
Instead of us just rambling on about a bunch of nonsense. So, but here coming up here in just a moment here soon, we'll be getting Wali Lundy on. Tonight we have with us a true UVA legend. If you like touchdowns, well, this was your guy. He played with the Who's from 2002 to 2005. His career consisted of 52 touchdowns, including scoring 17 in just one season. This legend was a 6th-round pick from the Houston Texans. We have with us none other than UVA running back great Wali Lundy. How are you tonight, Wali?
Good, man. Happy to be here. Happy to be on talking some ball without, or whatever we're talking about. Just happy to be on talking with some Virginia guys, man, and sharing some common love for the game.
That's right. Well, we're excited. We're excited to have you on. And so, just to kind of get started, what was your recruitment like, and what made you choose Virginia coming out of high school?
Man, my recruitment, I think I had everybody, 50, 60 schools recruit me. I mean, every ACC school, SEC. I think my last 5 my 5 visits that I went on were I went to Georgia. I went to Boston College. I went to Virginia, obviously. I went to Rutgers. I went to somewhere. I went to North Carolina too.
Okay.
I went to North Carolina. I mean, why did I choose Virginia? I mean, it's probably like two major reasons, but I think the first reason is I really felt comfortable when I got on campus around the guys. Like I had met Marcus Higgins, who they call Biscuit, and I had met Armando Curry, who they call Muffin, and I just thought they had like some cool nicknames and and no, that's really true. And I just like how they were, around each other. I like the coaches, and I was from New Jersey, so I got to see Al grow, come from the Jets to Virginia. So that was like a big deal from, and he came from NFL caliber coaching, and that's where I wanted one of my goals was to get to the NFL. And he recruited me on that. And I mean, that probably was one of the reasons too that I went there. But I really it felt like family when I went there. And I really liked the pitch that Al Groh gave me. He basically said he said, Wally, I used to coach in the NFL, and I still plan on coaching NFL players. I'm going to be doing it before they get to the NFL. And I was like, yeah, you talking about me? He sold me on the NFL thing, and which was cool. I got to.
He definitely coached some NFL players too.
Yeah. I mean, Al Gore was a good coach. He was an acquired guy, a taste, I would say, like, because some people you talk to and they hated him, and some people you talk to and they loved him. But I mean, I'm one of the guys. I was his guy when I got there. I was part of his recruiting class, so he always treated us, not to say better, but I think we, some of our class, we understood like the work we had to put in when we got there. Like I think we were hungry, and we were ready to, and we had some athletes to come in. I think we had the top 5 recruiting class in the country that year. So, we had a bunch of athletes, and I think that, it was just a good time.
I was gonna say, so I believe you played basketball in high school too. Maybe scored 1,000 points or more. Did you have any desire to play basketball in college or have any offers?
I did. I actually had Division I offers to play basketball. Not anywhere like huge, not like the things I was getting for football. Like I had Maine, a couple schools said I could walk on, but it was, maybe if I wasn't as good as I was in football, I would have took the the basketball scholarship. But it was no point to go the basketball route when I was, I had more opportunity to go to a bigger school and playing football. So I chose football. I mean, and I had schools that would have let me walk on if I persisted. Like I would have been a good walk on for a bunch of schools. Just to have a guy I was a shooter.
Okay.
And then play defense. I was really, really good on defense. So.
Yeah, UVA's had a couple of guys that kind of played football and basketball. One of them went to my alma mater. It was a little bit before you, but you probably know Percy Ellsworth.
Yeah, I know Percy.
Yeah, he played, and of course Matt Blunden played, and a couple others. But I
mean, I wish I would have. If I could go back, I would. I would give it a shot. I was good at basketball. I don't know. Who knows how far I could have went. I just.
Well, you were really good at football. We're glad you chose that route.
But you know what? So off on a tangent, my nephew Caleb Lundy, he's really good at basketball. He's 6'4", sophomore, out of Philly, Archbishop Wood. They just had an All-American there, Jalil Bethea. He went to Miami at Archbishop Wood. But my nephew's he's going to be ESPN top 100 player.
Oh wow!
So if he, I think his freshman year he was kind of slow, but I mean he's 6'4", can really handle, and he's been playing against some of these top 25 players, some big time Division I commits, and he's been the guy that's been shining. So Caleb Lundy,
that's awesome. We need him to. Coach Sanchez needs to get in touch. Man. ASAP, if he hasn't already.
Those guys need to be on him.
That's right. For sure. So you get to Virginia, and we'll talk about all your playing days. You were playing pretty much right out of the gate, but did you have kind of a welcome to big time college football moment where you were like, man, this is different, and I've kind of arrived, and I'm here.
Welcome to college football. I think the welcome to college football came off the field. We used to get they call it haze back in the day, but what's a better word for it? They used to.
We know what you mean. I don't know how. I don't know how it works with the football team.
Like the football team, and they had in our freshman class, we were all highly touted, and they didn't like it. It was a lot of the guys, the coaches were coming in, and a lot of the telling the guys they was going to lose their spots. I remember a big story in spring ball was Alvin Perriman was fumbling in the spring, but the spring before we got in, and he was saying, Algro kept telling him, "Don't worry, Alvin, you're just holding your time until the freshmen get here." So he was he made it harder for us, when we got there, because those guys had animosity. So they it was rite of passage. It's like a little breezeway before we used to get the locker room back in the old locker room when you had to go in, and they made us all like strip down to our boxers, and I should be telling you this, but it's a long time ago anyway. They made us strip down to our boxers, and they blindfolded us with the pre-wrap, and they pre-wrapped our hands, and and then they took us. They put the hottest hot sauce.
Oh gosh!
Oh my goodness!
Open your mouth and put the hot sauce in your mouth. Then they flickering the light. They dragged you into the locker room and was flickering the lights on and off, and everybody screaming who's, all 80, 90 guys in there. And then they could take you in and they dump you in the cold tub, and then they tell you to say your name, where you're from, and who position you're gonna take. And I think that was my introduction to I was like, oh dang, this is what this is about. Like I didn't know that this is really going on. But I think we kind of might have got a little bit worse because of the whole thing I just said. But I think that was my intro to college football. Like, oh, all right, and that kind of gave me a chip on my shoulder. Like I didn't like it, and I was kind of mad about that whole situation. So I think even in my freshman picture, because right after that we had to go to the hotel and take our freshman picture, so I look really bad in my picture. I look so mad in my picture, and that's why I look really mad in my picture.
That's funny.
I'm gonna have to try to find one of those game day programs and find. I know I've got them around the house somewhere.
Yeah.
That's funny.
That was my welcome to college football. But I think like where I finally felt where I finally was like, oh, I'm okay. I think I did pretty decent my first couple games, but I think where I felt like I'm okay here was the Maryland game. I think I was kind of a decent because I was on and off. I started the first game, or no, I didn't start the first game, but I started the second game, and then a couple of games I started in between, and I got, I think they might have thought it was too much for a freshman, so they put me back at number 2, 3, and then, that Maryland game I came in as like a third down back, and I got a couple of first downs, and I got a screen and scored, and I scored like 2 or 3 touchdowns that game, and I think I kind of from there, I kind of at the end of the season culminated into the Tire Bowl, which I did pretty good in the Tire Bowl. So I think the Maryland game was a game where I kind of settled into and felt like, all right, I can, you know, I knew what I had to do to take care of my body from week to week. And I knew, like, you know, how much rest I needed, and, you know, just kind of learning the game and learning how physical it was. So I think it took me to that Maryland game. Maybe it was towards the end of the season. I can't remember which game it was, but I think that was where I felt like, oh, I'm comfortable playing in college.
Well, you obviously had, you know, a fantastic career. Do you have like a favorite memory, whether it be like a favorite game or favorite play, favorite touchdown out of the 52, anything that would be like your favorite memory from there?
A favorite one. I would say the one. I mean, I think I scored 4. Okay, so I don't know if I have a favorite one, but there are ones that are more memorable than others. The one that I scored when we, I think we were up by maybe 7 against Virginia Tech my sophomore year. And it was like a 25-yard run that I think just put the game out of reach, and we won the game. And it had been a while since we had beat them. So I think that was I think that was
the 03 season.
Yeah, and that was when we kicked the fake. I think right before that we had a fake field goal.
Yep, and, remember it well.
And yeah, I think, I mean, and then that touchdown ended them, man, and it was like a really memorable. Like I can kind of like remember the play call and see the linebacker jumping out and me cutting back across his face. So I mean, yeah, I remember that like it was yesterday. I'm trying to think any other. The Tire Bowl was memorable. I'm not. I mean, I think it was just because I had a really good game. I'm not sure. I think the Tech game was more memorable because we wanted to. We didn't like Tech, and we knew some of those guys used to come up on campus and talk trash, and a lot of those guys live close to each other, so they grew up with each other. So we, you know, that was like, you know, it was like do it for the guys, you know.
Right.
That bowl game was fun because, you know, that was like I kind of like broke out on the scene with a lot of those touchdowns. I think one of the most memorable touchdown from that one, maybe the now I can remember the screen pass from Matt Schaub, where so screen pass was all messed up, like, and I scored on it, which probably should have never scored on it. It was like by luck, because my guy on that screen pass that I scored on that game, he blitzed and I didn't pick him up. Like so like if he was smart, he would have just went straight to the quarterback. But I kind of like I got behind, like I got on the side of him and got behind our lineman, and he came in. As soon as he was coming to Matt Schaub, I like cleared where he came, and he threw me the ball, and that was like luck of the draw, because we probably should have been sacked.
I say it probably looked just like you drew it, like it looked like it was supposed to be drawn up that way.
Like, and then I did a backward spin, like, I mean, that play was crazy. Like nothing about it was like scripted, like it was supposed to. It was just, so that was a fun play, but
right.
Yeah, I mean those are probably some two memorable ones that I had. I mean, the 52 is I mean, it's just a blessing to get in that much, but a lot of those came from Heath Miller getting caught on or tackled on the 1 yard line. I know, you know, like we getting down to the 1 yard line and punching it in, which, you know, gotta know.
Yeah, I don't know how much you watch now, but if the Grady bunch, if y'all had a Grady bunch package, which is like
right?
a push for UVA.
Who know that? Who would have knew that play would be so effective, right?
But so you played with a ton of UVA greats. I'm going to name a few, and I'm probably going to leave some off. But you played with Schaub, Hagens, Chris Long, Heath Miller, DeBrickashaw Ferguson, Alvin Pierman, Ahmad Brooks.
Canty was there.
Canty,
I'm sorry.
Chris Canty was there. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Chris Canty. I can't believe we didn't put him on that list. Absolutely.
Yeah, Elton Brown was there.
Brown.
Yeah. Do you keep in touch with any of those guys on a regular basis still?
I know our 02 recruiting class, that class, we got a group chat with everybody in it. So we talk when we watch the games, we watching the games or something happened. I know whatever happened would just happen with the coach stepping down. We always talking
Tony
about
Bennett,
Tony Bennett stepping down, and just some of these games and stuff, just about the football games and what's going on and the state of the program and stuff like that.
I would love to see what the thoughts are on the state of the program right now. But
yeah, I mean, well, yeah. I got a lot of different opinions about the state of the program. What I think what Tony Elliott is doing, I think that he's doing it. I don't think that he's doing a bad job for what he's working with. You know what I mean? Like it's for me, and just to know like the inside of how you, from being a college football coach and knowing what you need to win, especially at that level. I mean, if you want to win consistently, you need the dogs, you need the athletes, you need the Ahmad Brooks, and Ahmad Brooks doesn't get into UVA now, a Wali Lundy may not make it. Now my grades was decent, so I may have gotten to UVA, but a couple of those guys who we had in transition, where we had, they let those guys come in the summer and, kind of pick their grades up, or we will send guys to Fort Union and hard grade, and then they get their grades up for a year and come back. But all that stuff is like done. And I mean, that's part of the reason probably why Anthony Poindexter didn't take the job, just because it's going to be hard to compete. And then you'll get down there and he'll get a bunch of donors, and a lot of people get excited about him coming there, and he'll build up the stadium and have all this donation money. But the players, now I knew coaches on the staff that were there with Tony Elliott. So, I know the struggles that they were going through as far as the recruiting. And they could get some of the guys. They wanted to come to UVA. It's just hard to get into UVA as a. And now to say that you can't win, you can be a decent. I don't want to say that you can't win with academic guys, but you're not going to win a national championship. And like if Ohio State is not doing that, like Alabama's not doing that. Their admissions is open. Like it's open. Like you can get anybody in. And so, not to say that you want to get anybody in. I look at Deion Sanders, and as soon as he got there, they opened the admissions changed. As soon as he got there, they changed the admission process, and they had started letting everybody in. If you want to compete on that level, and you have to play the game, and that's the game. You got to let people in if you want to win. In college football, it may be different in other sports,
right? Because
I know UVA is really good in other sports. But other sports, some sports are money sports where kids that are well off play this sport, and you'll be able to find these kids because they got the academics and are pushed to play that sport. But a lot of the kids that play the sports the bigger sports, those kids are coming from not the greatest places, the best ones,
Does that go up to a president like Jim Rutt, the president, or is that the decision on who gets in? I mean, is that just?
Oh yeah, I mean that's on the president. It's on Carla too, but I mean it's Carla will have to take it to the admissions, but I think the president will have to in the committee
kind of bless it all.
Yeah, I think pretty sure the president and whatever committees they have in place will have to say yes. But I think, and I also think, and what I heard, not that I think, what I know is that some of the classes that we had in our class too, we weren't on our best behavior when we were there. So it kind of ruined it for some of the stuff down the line, but we won. We were winners, and we had the team to compete for a national championship. We didn't, but we had the players. Now, that had to do with coaching or just things not falling the right way for us. Because I think the 1 year we lost 3 games. That was our closest to get in. I think we got to number 5. I think one close to pretty high.
Is that the year when you guys went to Florida State? I think it was in 2004.
And they worked.
I drove from Richmond.
It was just, I'm not, and I think about that game now. It was just because the next year we beat them.
Right. We
beat them the next year when they're number 4 in the country, and we had a totally different game plan. It was the game plan when we went down there to Florida State was, all right, we're gonna go toe to toe with these guys. Mm-hmm. We got the team, we got the players. We're gonna run our stuff. We're gonna do our thing. We're gonna play Virginia football. It's a Virginia thing. That's basically what it was. We should have used the game plan that when you go to play a game like that, it should be all right, we're just gonna do this. We're gonna just no. Because the game could change. The game could shape up, go a different way, So you need to be able to, we were running, I would just watch that Florida State game when we were throwing the ball, dropping back, throwing the ball almost every time, hitting it. Biscuit played incredible. He was amazing. And we didn't put the game in his hands that year. We kind of because we were pounding the ball that year. We were dominating that year as far as with the run game. So we thought that we were going to dominate them. And I just think that we went down there with the wrong game plan because we could have beat them. Mm-hmm. We could have beat them.
Good. Yeah.
But I think we had the wrong game plan in that game.
Yeah, I got married that weekend, or I had got married the weekend before we went on our honeymoon, and I had, and this is just my age, but I had the game video recorded on the VHS. As soon as we got home, I popped that thing in. It was a tough break for me that night. But you guys were, y'all were fun to watch. I thought the same as you. Going into that game, I was just excited.
Yeah, we would have won that one. If we win that game, we roll. I think we go to the national championship.
Yeah.
I think we go to the national championship because I think that gives us the confidence. We went down to Florida State. We beat the Seminoles. Mm-hmm. I think it gives us the confidence to roll through everybody else because everybody else we had a game with. Miami that year, it was a game. I think we lost in the fourth quarter, and Virginia Tech, it was a game, and we lost in the fourth quarter. Mm-hmm. So I think if we win that Seminoles game, I think it propels us to beat those other two, and we go to the national championship because we were number 4. If we'd have beat those two, we'd probably been ranked number 1 or 2 in the country, and we played for the national championship.
Oh man,
that was the best atmosphere I've ever been in for a game. I drove from Richmond, left at 2:00 in the morning, drove straight through to Tallahassee, tailgated for 3-4 hours. Went to the game, drove back to Georgia, spent the night for about 4 or 5 hours, and then drove the rest of the way back the next day. But that atmosphere at Florida State was nuts.
I was on the phone. Who was I just telling that? I was with somebody. He was actually went to Florida State, and I told him, I said, Florida State has the best college football atmosphere of any college I played at. And I've been to Penn State, and they got 110,000 guys. I played at the Cowboy Stadium. I played at, for football, Doak Walker Stadium is probably the best atmosphere for college football. Now, I haven't really played in a bunch of those. I haven't played in a bunch of those SEC stadiums, so I'm not sure. But when that Seminole come out on that horse,
oh yeah,
it's different, man. It's different.
It was.
I remember seeing that as a freshman. It's like that type of stuff stay with you for life,
So how was it playing for Al Groh, and what was he like? You kind of mentioned this earlier behind the scenes. I know you said this earlier. Some people kind of saw him as gruff and a business type of guy, and you said, I guess is an acquired taste. But how was it playing for Coach Grove?
I mean, I love playing for them because we won. We were winners for the most part. We didn't. I mean, I think that what our guys talk about on that group chat, our O2 class talk about is like we feel like we didn't live up to what we wanted to do there, but we were successful. We did have good years, and I think that, like I said before, like I think it was an acquired taste with Algro. He taught us a lot. Like he taught you about the facts of football. You knew football. You knew how to win the game. Do I think could he have done more for some guys who we knew that probably weren't going to go to the NFL, and that you're going to be workers and come out? Maybe, I don't know. I think he was, I think he brought his NFL mindset, that Bill Belichick, that do your job, that Bill Parcells type of mentality to college. And, it was hard for some college kids to adapt to that, especially like, I'm not sure. I didn't know George Welsh, but forever how George Welsh was, he was completely different from what Al Groh was, from what the players said. And, some of the older guys didn't like him. And that was just that, the younger guys that he brought in, most of us, we loved them, because I think we chose them, and I don't think they chose them. So I think just being caught up in that transition. But yeah, I mean, I thought Coach Groh was he was a good leader. You always knew what the game plan was. And what you needed to do to win. And I mean, I think he made the game easier for you. Like, or at least he was a good as far as handing down tasks to his coaches to where we understood what was going on. It wasn't. I bet because I say this because I've coached and I've been on the other side where it's like, are we doing too much? How much are we giving these kids? Are they thinking too much? We just want them to play.
Right.
So I think that he did a good job with that as far as, us knowing the X and O's and what was going on, but also like, all right, let's go out and play and not make it too complicated.
Right. So UVA's produced many great running backs. If you had to create a Mount Rushmore of UVA running backs, who would be on that Mount Rushmore with you?
Ooh, man, that's a good question. So I mean, I know this is one. I never seen him play. I mean, obviously, his number's retired, number 24. But they say he's the greatest running back in UVA history. What is it? I can't remember his name.
It's about Terry Kirby or Tiki Barber.
No, it wasn't him. Well, yeah, I definitely think those guys, but I would be remiss if I didn't say that guy. I forget his name though now. But in my top five, yeah, definitely Terry Kirby's in there. No, in no particular order. And I'm not gonna leave myself out, so I can put.
You shouldn't.
But I'm Terry Kirby, definitely Tiki for sure. Number 7. I'm drawing a blank on his name. Played for the Chicago Bears, Cardinals. He had
Thomas
a brother,
Jones.
Thomas Jones. I can't. My bad, Thomas. Forgive me. Thomas Jones. So Terry Kirby, Tiki, Thomas. Man, Alvin Pearman.
There's so many good ones.
I think I blinked out, but Frank Quell is who you're talking about?
Franquell is the name. Franquell. Okay. I never seen him play, but everybody say he was the greatest. So, but I wouldn't put him on my list because I know.
Oh yeah, no.
So that was 4. Barry Word.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
all right.
Virginia has some good backs, man. Even when I was there, man, we had 4 or 5. What? Marcus Weeks went to the NFL, but he ended up playing safety his senior. But he was a running back for the most of his year. But he played running back in the NFL. Marcus Weeks was there. Alvin Pierman was there. Got drafted. Cedric Pierman got drafted.
Mm-hmm.
Jason Snelling got drafted. And I got drafted.
Oh man, that's a name I'd forgotten. Jason Snelling. Yeah, he was another good one.
Snelling got drafted.
When you're doing, when we were bringing you on, and I'm just doing some research because I remember your career, but you're trying to go back and look at some stats and things. And when you pull up that roster from the years you were there, and the site I was on lists NFL on the right side, who went to the NFL. It's a god awful ton of players.
Oh man, the one year I think we had the most players drafted in the draft that year. I think we were like 1 or 2.
That's crazy. Yeah, I know as you age, your memory's terrible, and you go back and you look and you're like, holy cow, all these guys were on the same team. That's
right.
Great.
Yeah, man. I tell people, man, we had the potential to win the national championship, but we had some really good players. Like I always tell people, Ahmad Brooks was probably the best athlete I've ever played against.
Wow.
Or win against. Like he was a monster, like 6'4", 260, 4'5", 4'4", and could hit and could catch. And I mean, he was just, that was different. I never seen. He hit me the hardest I've ever been hit in my life in practice.
That's terrible.
I had to look at him twice, like why you hit me so?
We're on the same team.
But I mean, he was man. Ahmad Brooks was really good, man. He was. I always say if Ahmad Brooks had that, he was a dog. But if he had that 1-2, like he just woke up and it was easy for him.
Right.
Like he didn't have to do much. He didn't have to work out. But if he had that, like, I'm going to be the best, I'm going to work out and I'm going to grind, he probably would have been one of the greatest players I ever played the game.
Oh, wow.
Wow. He played in the league for probably 8 years,
9
years, 10 years maybe. And the Ahmad Brooks that I know, if he was the same way in college, he got by on his athletic ability, and nothing wrong with that. He made a good career for himself, but he could have been one of the greatest players to go down in history. That's how good he was. I mean, this guy in college, which timed the snap it up. I don't know if y'all remember when he timed the snap of the snap in Virginia Tech and jumped over the center.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like man, that guy. That guy was crazy.
Wow. So you played in the NFL yourself, with the Texans. Did you have a favorite moment or a moment where you just, there's got to be a moment, Jeff and I, we're never has-beens. So we just sit and think like, what is it like when you get there?
It's funny because I have those moments too, like, outside of myself. Like right now, and I'll tell you what it's like in a second. I'm just, I think about, I'm watching the Aaron Hernandez FX documentary, like not documentary, but it's a series. And I always think about, man, how was that him going to Florida, and being around all those guys and being in that locker room. Like, that had to be like a different experience. Like, I wonder that. And I was, I got to experience being in my own set of locker rooms and like, how was it for him in New England, playing with Tom Brady, that I wonder how that, so I can imagine like, the other's perspective of it. But like, for me at the time when you're doing it, I think it's just I think to you in your mind, it's a natural progression. Like, this is what I'm doing. Like, all right, I got to college. I'm gonna work as hard as I can in college, and if I'm getting these accolades, then my next step is go to the pros. So I think when you get there, it's like you work yourself here, and for me, it's like same helmet, same shoulder pads. I'm going on the practice field, putting on my cleats, maybe get used to new teammates. But I did this in college. You know what I'm saying? I think you always try to revert it back to something you're familiar with, so it doesn't look like so it's not like, oh, I'm in the NFL, like so it's not like always like in my mind as a running back, I always thought about this like at every level. It's like if there's a hole, and it's open. If there's a hole, I'm going to run through it. Like I kept it that simple. Like right. I don't want to make it harder than this. If there, like when I got the NFL, if there's a hole and I see I'm gonna run through it, I can't make it harder than that, know, because I think when you start thinking too much and what I got to do to be the best with these guys, and I think you just got to, kind of keep it simple. And if you're good enough, your ability will, I think it will take over.
Right. So we don't get to talk to many guys that beat Virginia Tech. But your performance against them is one that will never be forgotten by Virginia fans. One, we just want to say thank you. We appreciate you.
Every year I watch that game, I just, oh my God,
that's awesome.
The question is, what was it like on campus that night at UVA? Like, I know you had to have it had to be like you had to pay for no drinks that night, I would imagine.
I see what my wife is.
Oh man.
No, it was a good time. We beat Tech, man. It was one of the best times on campus, man. We had a blast. Who would have known it would have been 19 years since however many years it was since we beat them again.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I want to say it was surreal because it hadn't been that long since they had beat them the time before. But
probably 98. I think it was 98 before you guys beat them in 03.
03, yeah. So, I think it just felt good because to get that, like, they were the name in Virginia, and we were supposed to be these top recruiting class, and I think it was just a thing for us to like, all right, we know that we can match up with these guys. But yeah, it was, it was definitely I think it was one of our most memorable wins, or one of my most memorable wins as far as just after the after party. Because everybody stayed around, and like everybody was on campus. It was like Thanksgiving time, so it was fun, man. It was fun, like a college kid's dream for sure, just to go out and celebrate. You don't pay for drinks that night. Most of the nights you win, and that's the only time I ever really went out. Because if we lost, I never went out.
Right.
So, and I didn't go out during the week. Like I wasn't a partier. So if I ever did go out, it was after the game. So yeah, so a lot of those times that we did go out were memorable, and that was a memorable time.
I'm sure.
I just leave it there.
Once again, Jay and I don't know anything about that kind of experience. The best we got is maybe a F League intramural championship in basketball, but that's about it. They don't celebrate you like that in college, like beating Virginia Tech in football.
Hey, man, it's a beautiful thing.
So we talked a little bit about this year's team and kind of what's going on. Have you gotten to watch many games, and what are your thoughts on where if you've been able to catch them?
I've been watching. I watched most of their games.
Okay.
I like the team. Like truthfully, I like the team. I like Calandria. I know some people don't like him. I think that he's a fighter, man. I think that it's hard to play that position, and he doesn't at least he gives you a chance. Like I don't feel like he gives up on the plays and like I feel like he's going to. Now he makes mistakes in that too, but I also think that when you're trying to, you got the ball in your hands, and you're trying to make a play, you may make a mistake. I think we're not good enough with the run. If you watch the Eagles play, the Philadelphia Eagles, and that's my NFL team because I grew up in South Jersey. But if you watch them play from this year to last year, the difference is that they run the ball consistently. Mm-hmm. They have an identity. I think when we were at Virginia, we had an identity. Mm-hmm. We ran the ball. We could play. We played defense. We were good on defense. We controlled the line of scrimmage and we could run the ball. I don't think they run the ball good enough to be consistently good winners. I like Xavier Brown. I like pace. I think I may like Brown a little bit more than I like pace. Mm-hmm. I think that if we ran the ball more, we could be a little bit more consistent with maybe some play action to kind of help those guys have him not running around all over the place because our offensive line is not the greatest in pass pro. Our defense plays well at sometimes, but I think you ask a lot. You ask a lot of them. You put them on the field for a long time, and you're not scoring points. You're not taking up any time of possession. You make it hard on the defense when you get so many opportunities. You're giving an offense so many opportunities. Eventually, something's going to stick. Especially if you got good players.
Yep.
So but I think for what we have and for how we play, I think our record is pretty good. Because I don't not necessarily. What would you guys say our identity is on offense?
We talked about this in our last episode when we were talking about the UNC game. I just don't think we have an identity. And like you said, we didn't run like against North Carolina. We didn't run the football. Mm-hmm. At halftime. Calandra, I think, had 13 carries, and of course some of that was sacks.
But some of it's on he is not called runs.
Right. But it was like four. I don't think Xavier Brown had a run until the second quarter. Yeah. He caught that wheel route and almost took it to the house on the first possession. And so I think I agree with you. If we could get a running game going, I think that'll help Calandra out quite a bit.
Yeah, it's hard because if a team knows like, all right, we're gonna stop the run.
Right.
We know we want to stop the run. We know they can't really run. We got to be geared up to stop the pass because it's the only way they can really win is by a big play. Something, And
we brought in all those, transfers to a wide receiver room, and we had high hopes, but I think
Malachi Field's been there though.
Malachi has, yes.
He's our best guy.
Yes.
I
don't know, man. Chris Tyree in, and then Trell Harris has been hurt. And so that hurts quite a bit too. So
where did Tyree come? He came from Louisville. Where did he come from?
Notre Dame.
Yep.
Andre Green came from North Carolina, and it just hasn't panned out.
Tyler Neville's been really good at the tight end spot.
Neville, I like Neville. And there was another kid that came from Harvard, right?
Yep.
Is that Neville?
We had 3 offensive linemen down against Carolina, and like you said, when they know you can't run, which is what worries me about Pitt. I think they've got the 7th ranked run defense in the country, yards per carry. If they can just stop the run, which they've done against everybody else.
Trust me, I've been on a college staff with a coach that didn't like to run the ball, and we threw the ball and we had runners. And it's very frustrating when you got good runners. And I'm not even sure if we have good runners at UVA. I'm not sure about those guys.
Right.
I like Brown, but I'm not sure. I mean, he shows some flashes of that he could be good. But if you don't even give those guys a chance, like 4 or 5 carries, like 11, that's you can't win the game. You need to call runs, even if it's called to where it's a read option and the quarterback keeps it and runs. Mm-hmm. because I think it's all about putting that outside defender in conflict. You put in that really because everybody plays with that overhang linebacker, and that plays either in the slot, over the slot, or over the third receiver. And that guy's either he's responsible. He has a run responsibility. So if you're not putting that guy, if you're not making that guy play in the run responsibility and putting him in conflict, we call it putting him in conflict, is if you got to play the run or the pass, and he's only playing the pass, and you're letting the other guy stop the run, then you already lost because you letting the extra guy play the pass and not even have to focus on the run. Right. And that's how most people play now.
Right.
Yeah. And it seems like when we run the ball, it's a slow developing. It's like almost, it's not a draw, but man, it feels like a draw because everything is just slow. Nothing quick hit the hole. And even if you only get 2 or 3, 3 yards of carry, 3-4 yards.
Yeah.
You can live with that.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what I'm not really sure what they're running. I mean, they probably run a zone, some sort of zone scheme. That's what everybody run.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you could always run traps, especially if you don't got good, especially if you don't think your O-line is good. You're not good at moving people, you can trap teams that you think got good O-line, good D-lines, and have them come up the field and have your fullback come and trap the D tackle and try to hit it fast, like you're saying, hit it fast up the A gap. I mean, I don't know, man. Like, I think they have a talent problem. I think it's a talent problem, and more on a up front. I mean, I think we're losing up. It's really the war up front. Like, that's where you lose the games and win the games. If you can't control the line of scrimmage, you're gonna lose. And those guys, those dogs that is on the line of scrimmage that you want, those Elton Browns, those Brandon Alberts, G Monroes, who else was on the
DeBrickashaw,
Brad Butler, Brad Butler got drafted too.
Yep.
Patrick Estes got drafted. I mean, all those guys.
Yeah.
Those are dogs. We control the line of scrimmage. All those guys who I just named got drafted when I was on the team. Like, you got to have pro guys on the O line and D line if you want to compete,
Yeah.
And whether that's, I mean, shoot, Eugene Monroe was the number 1 offensive lineman coming out of high school in the country. Brandon Albert I think he was a top guy too, but he was a basketball player too. I mean, a lot of these guys were they had name. They were good players coming out of high school, so you knew that you could develop them into something.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think it all comes back to being able to bring the talent in. I think Virginia will, if we really want to compete on the national level, and because Virginia State of Virginia has really good football.
Excellent.
I mean, really good football. If you can keep those guys in state,
Jeff and I are both 757 guys, so we have a lot of talent that comes out of here every year.
It's oozing out of there.
Yeah,
oozing out. I mean, it's bursting through the seams. If you can keep those kids, in the state, even Virginia Tech is not doing a great job with it.
Right.
But yeah, like, for us, we have to be willing to do whatever it takes to keep at least those kids. If it's not everybody, if it's not like, all right, we're not opening up admissions to everybody, but our in-state kids, we're going to do whatever we can to get those kids, because we don't want these guys going out and going to other schools.
Yep.
I think that makes it better.
Yep. So just to kind of wrap it up, I know you've done some coaching. I know you mentioned it at the college level. So do you have aspirations to continue coaching football somewhere, or what is Wali Lundy up to today?
Well, I was coaching at the Division I at Lafayette. I've been out of it about 2.5 years. I had some job offers, man. I had an offer to come down to William and Mary.
Nice.
Wali Lundy. I just, my wife, she got a good job. My wife is a physician in the city. So, the coaching life is very difficult. And it's not for a person that wants not to be an absentee dad. Because that you are an absentee dad if you're a full-time college football coach. And I didn't grow up with a dad. And I kind of, when I started having kids, I got 2 boys now, I want to be in like, I was just coaching my son's flag football game, playoff game,
awesome.
So I mean, high school coaching, if down the line, maybe I could get back into college. That would be awesome. But I mean, in anywhere in the near future, no, I'm not. I think I'm just gonna focus on raising my kids and training them and and teaching them whatever they want to do. I want them to play sports, but whatever really they want to do, I just want to make sure I'm there to be a part of it. I love football and what football gave to me, so I'm always going to be willing to help other kids and coach them, even if I'm not in a title position.
Right.
So I helped out at Ramapo High School in New Jersey, like last year and a half. I didn't do it this past year. I may get back into high school, maybe, if it's a head coaching job or assistant coaching job, something to I feel like the game gave me a lot. I learned a lot from the game. I met a lot of great people. So I always say this to my players and anybody I can get a chance to say it to, is if football gave you something, I think it's your duty to give it back, get back to it, because it's other kids that needs to be inspired, or need to be taught the right way. And if I can do that and teach them the right way and inspire somebody to be better than I was, or just to, give them the mentality to do it. That's my goal.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. Yep. Well, Wali, we certainly appreciate your time. And hopefully, maybe one day we'll see you in Charlottesville at a football game or something.
Man. I don't think I've been back to Charlottesville since 2015. I haven't been back there because I was coaching. I was in coaching for so long. We played on Saturdays. I couldn't get back. Now I got the baby. I got a baby, so I haven't been back. But once I think after this year, I'll be able to he'll be able to go out and be out and endure the elements. So when
you bring your nephew Caleb for his official visit for the basketball program,
Syracuse already invited him up.
Oh boy.
Yeah,
Sanchez better get on the horn.
He's going. I mean, look, he's going to be a player. I'm not even sure Virginia will be able to get him because who knows?
NIL has changed so much. It's really
changed so much. And I don't. But he's a smart kid, and Virginia. You know what? Virginia would be able to get him because I'm his uncle.
Right.
That's right. So. That's right.
But he's a really good man. I think that it would be awesome to be back down there and go to some have a Lundy in uniform, a Virginia uniform.
That's right.
That'd be all right.
Well, Wali, we really appreciate your time. We hope you have a great evening.
Yeah, you too, man. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yep.